Hey guys, so in this video I want to explain the difference between two classes of items you might buy in the auction house. These are gambling items versus investing items. Now, a lot of players think that they're buying investing items when what they're actually buying is gambling items, and when they lose gold, they have no idea what happens. So it's important to know the difference between the two. And hopefully from this video you can understand my approach to what I buy, and it doesn't seem, as one comment put it, a whale buying random shit. So what is the difference? I can hear you asking. And I'll just tell you that right now. With gambling items, time is against you. You have a single chance to be right, and if you're wrong, you lose. Let's look at an example. Let's look at Arcane Crystal right here. It seems cheap, right? And they're still used in the Burning Crusade. Engineers need a couple of them, at the very least one, to make their mode extractor. On the surface, it seems like a decent investment. You buy something now to sell it at a time players need it later. It's simple enough. So why would I consider this gambling, not investing? And the answer to that is because we only have one chance to get it right. Players are only going to want this for a very short window of time. And most importantly, we don't know how much arcane crystals people have right now. The hidden supply of the server is completely unknown, and it's important to recognize that we don't know this, and we can't ever know this. We just don't know how much players have. An important aspect of this part of the game is acknowledging that I don't know. Now, this wouldn't be a problem if the demand for arcane crystals wasn't so short-lived. If the window to sell sucks, that's it. You're out of time, and it's time to face the music. The music, in this case, being a loss of gold. Now, that doesn't mean arcane crystals won't do well. For all I know, they double or triple in price in the future, but it's still a coin flip. You're just flipping a coin and calling heads or tails. People get rich at the casino, but nobody calls it investing. You're like, oh, yeah, that guy just got lucky. So I don't recommend doing this, especially if you only have a small amount of gold. But with investing items, stuff changes because time is now on your side. You have many chances to be wrong, and you only have to get it right once. Let's look at two items I've talked about a lot, and I know some of you are rolling your eyes thinking he's trying to pump the market again, but the reality of it is that I want this to be cheap for as long as possible so I can keep buying it, so please don't buy any. And at least if you're on the Night Slayer server. If you're on Alliance, don't buy any. And I'm only talking about it so much because it's what's happening in the market currently. You can just go to the auction house and see it for yourself. And those items are Firebloom and Deviate Fish. Now this seems completely like a random thing, right? Why do I consider these investments? Because we can be wrong about them for the entire expansion, and we only need to be right a single time. Instead of one coin that we get to call heads or tails on, we're now given 100 coins. And we only need to call it correctly once. The outcome is basically fated to happen. It's not luck, it's destiny. It's destined to happen. It's destined to be this way. Now let's look at what we know about these items. And I mean what we actually know. And we're not going to make any guesses. We're going to be completely honest with ourselves. Okay, first question. What's the hidden supply of the server? How much could people be holding that they're planning on selling when the Burning Crusade launches? I don't know. It could be millions. I think Firebloom is running low, but I could be dead wrong here. And I've been wrong plenty of times in the past. Well, that's not good. Will supply go down in the future? Yeah. Players won't stay in the old world. Bots have very little reason to be there. That's not a guess. It's just going to happen. I know this. Will demand go up? Yeah, players will start raiding again. Again, this isn't a guess. I know this. So prices should be higher. Yup, I know this. Okay, that's good news. So how much will they go up in price? How much am I going to make? I have no idea. What? Okay, well, when are they going to go up in price? Well, I have no idea. This doesn't inspire confidence, right? And what if those millions of potential materials get dumped? Won't the price go down? Yeah, they will. That would be called us getting it wrong. But here's the difference between this and arcane crystals. Players will still use them. If they're cheap, consumption will outpace production. Nobody wants to farm it since they're cheap, and everybody consumes it because it's cheap. Players will snack on 40 silver Deviate Fish like candy. I know this is going to happen. And eventually, that excess supply is going to run out, and it's going to be time to face the music. But this time, it's not you, but the market who's run out of time. We saw this with Plague Bloom during our Classic run. Consumption of Plague Bloom surged upwards when Mage Blood Potion was added to the game. Yet the price of Plague Bloom didn't move at all. I think it even went down, because a lot of players stockpiled it to sell it in Phase 4 because they predicted the price would go up. But a lot of them sold when it didn't, and the price didn't move, not understanding that they had an investment item, not a gambling one. So excess supply and accumulation from the previous months kept the price of Plague Bloom low. It was only months later that the excess supply was burned through. In Phase 5, the market ran out of time. And I'm sure if you've been playing on the server, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You went to the auction house and Mongoose potions were 20 gold. What the hell happened, you're asking? I'll tell you exactly what happened. The market ran out of time. Now, I'm not saying to never buy gambling items, because some gambling items you're basically rolling a loaded dice. Especially with group behavior that's easy to predict, it's not hard to take advantage of. For example, with items you expect players to all crowd into and invest in. Buying before them and selling to them is gambling, because you can't predict it 100% and you never know what players will do, especially if they become aware it's a bubble. But it's still pretty likely to happen that you're going to make gold on this. For example, I'm buying Ghost Mushroom and Grom's Blood to make elixirs of demon slaying. Not because I think they'll do well, but because I think I can sell them to investors that are a bit too late to the party. In reality, there's probably way too many Ghost Mushrooms and Grom's Blood being stockpiled. And when everyone sells at the same time, the price will be very cheap. But I still think I can sell it to investors who are a little less experienced. Now, other forms of high success probability gambling exist, such as items that people have forgotten about that you know they need in large quantities. For example, Essence of Air before AQ, Blue Sapphires before Nax, or as one viewer commented, Heavy Scorpid Scales for Frost Resist gear, and I completely missed this, by the way. That was a really smart play. What I'm trying to get at from all this is that you should still buy gambling items, but you need to temper your expectations and realize I might lose gold on this. And for those curious, the bulk of my wealth was made from investment items, not gambling items. Because in the long run, gambling items both win and lose you gold, but investment items never lose. Because if you get it wrong, and you almost certainly will, and I get stuff wrong all the time, you literally just do nothing. You just do nothing until you get it right. And knowing the difference between the two is key, because otherwise, you're going to sell your investment item at a loss when you should be buying more. Yep. I hope this gives more clarity on why I put tons of gold into certain items, and it doesn't look like a whale buying random shit. Thanks for listening.